Okay, Shalom Akim, Kal Halalim La, Yahal Ba Hashem, Yahushua Ba Hashem Rachak Kodash, and double honors to the great Muslim apostles as well. Father Yahushua, forgive me the strength in order to make this video as well. And of course, this lesson, because I think I mentioned in the previous lesson that I was going to make another video based on fasting. So, of course, well, based on fasting and obviously looking after the vessel, I know, brothers tend to go on this topic every now and then as well, keeping up the health and fitness up, going to the gym, or rather just having your own home workout dumbbells and exercise routine. But, as we're in this vessel right now, we know that we're in terrestrial vessels, which means obviously they're pertaining to, I need to search for the definition so that I can read it out for you guys. But yeah, really it's pertaining to the earthly vessel that we have right now. The body that we have right now, that's reference to terrestrial. So let me just get the definition quickly and then we'll get into the precepts as well. Because I think terrestrial has a root word of terra, which refers to the earth, if I'm correct. Because I think that's what I remember from last time, but let me just search the definition up. I might even get the etymology online root word for terrestrial. And of course that's also referring to 1 Corinthians 15 verse 40. Definition of terrestrial. So the definition of terrestrial says an inhabitant of the earth. So of course, as I said, terra also means earth. I think that's a Spanish word as well. It refers to the earth. So of course, inhabitant of the earth. Within these vessels also, it's a lot of inhabiting the earth as well, man. So, that's really what it means. It just means that it means relating or on the earth. Let's see, an inhabitant of the earth. That's basically what it is. So, that's just some basic information. Let me go to etymology online and then see what I can get from the word. Etymology online. Okay. Because I want to actually see what root words connect to terrestrial. Because I was thinking terror, but let's see. Terror, like the Spanish version, I think. Let's see, terrestrial. So it says terrestrial. This is the online, if that's going to focus properly. Well, here's the online etymology dictionary, right there. But terrestrial says of or pertaining to earth, as the definition said before. It says from Latin terrestris, which means earthly, of the earth, on land, or from terror. Yeah. So obviously my mind wasn't deceiving me when I was thinking of terror, because I just remembered it from some Spanish lesson. But yeah, so it says from terra, earth, from rooters to dry. But yeah, terra meaning earth, man. So when you hear the word terrestrial, just think something belonging to the earth. To simplify it. So yeah, that's terrestrial. But the first precept I was gonna get pertaining to that was let me get it. 1 Corinthians 15 verse 40, which I've got ready right now. It says, this is 1 Corinthians 15 verse 40. There are also celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial, but the glory of the celestial is one, and the glory of the terrestrial is another. So one could also say the form of the celestial is one, and the form of the terrestrial is another. In fact, let me actually get the root word for glory, really. Because this is pertaining to appearance. Now, let's see. So it says in the Greek, for the root word for glory,
Strong's G 1391, doxa. Doxa.
Yeah, it says it right there. Doxa. Don't know if you can just focus there, but yeah. Anyways, that's doxa. And what it means, it says opinion, judgment, view. Actually, wait, Salakio. Yeah, it does say glory. It does say glory. Yeah, I just need to see what it's talking about. It says from the base of glory in a wide application, dignity, glorious, honor, praise, worship. Let's see the other ones. Let's see. I want to read the one that actually relates to it in this context. So it says here, of the angels, as apparent in their exterior brightness. It also mentions a thing belonging to the Most High. And everything in the creation is really there by His will. So obviously everything belongs to the Most High. So also when referring to the glory of a terrestrial and the glory of a celestial, obviously the belongings of the Most High, based upon this definition here from the root word doxa, it says a thing belonging to the Most High. So of course, the vessels here on earth and the vessels in the heavens, celestial vessels, terrestrial vessels, of course, they have their different glories, they have their different forms, different appearances. So that's what that's referring to in 1 Corinthians 15 verse 40. So this is 1 Corinthians 15 verse 40 once more. There are also celestial bodies, the heavenly ones, and bodies terrestrials, the earthly ones, as we went into the root word terra, meaning earth, belonging to the earth, terrestris, which is the Latin word. But the glory of the celestial is one, and the glory of the terrestrial is another. So of course they have their different forms, man. Natural body and spiritual body. But yeah, celestial and terrestrial, those are the key words. And we went into the root word doxa right there. So the reason why I was getting that out is because, of course, we're in an earthly vessel, so we need to do things in order to look after it. Because we can't just survive by, just not eating anything and not drinking any water. We can't just survive. The angels, on the other hand, they don't need water, they don't need food, they don't need these bodily processes to then go through. Going to the toilet, excreting waste, having to consume food to then nourish the body. They don't have to do that. The celestial bodies in the heaven, the angels. So for us, being in this terrestrial body right now, we have to eat certain foods in order to help nourish us as well. Which we're going to get into that as well. We mentioned some because I remember some brothers on the video when I think Apostle Tahar was doing the Daniel 7 and probably 8 and 9 breakdown. They also mentioned health near the ending of the video. So I took down some notes as well on certain foods or herbs of which one can consume. But yeah, I'll get to that eventually. But that's really the point that I want to make when bringing out 1 Corinthians 15 verse 40. We're in earthly bodies, we have earthly functions to also go through as well. So, I was going to get something else. I was going to get this Ecclesiasticus chapter 30. Let's see. Come on, let me just try to get this. Check again. Oh yeah, I skipped a chapter, so okay. So it says here in Ecclesiasticus chapter 30, verse 25, a cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet. So of course, one who's of in a righteous and a good state of mind, stable state of mind, they'll be able to actually discern that they need to be careful of what they consume, because they'll have the wisdom to also understand that what they consume will also affect how they think, how their body functions, the strength of the body, and of course really whatever pertains to the body, man, in terms of its functions. So again, once more, Ecclesiasticus chapter 30, verse 25, a cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and a diet. And also, even just to be cheerful and to have a good mind, which heart also relates to the mind as well. To have a good mind, the thing is you have to be careful of what you consume, and then be careful of your diet, which is your habitual consumption on a daily basis. So, that's why, when you eat certain foods, such as, the typical fast foods as well, maybe the next day you won't be feeling as good, or later on, like a few hours later, you may not be feeling as good compared to the times where you only consumed clean food, like, clean proteins, clean meats as well. As some doctors may say, I think there's this one called Dr. Eric Stenberg, or another one, there's quite a few of them. I forgot their names, but Dr. Sten Ekberg, I think that's his name. I haven't watched this video in some time, but there was a time that, I did watch a lot based on fasting, on foods and whatnot. But, yeah, it was probably like a few months ago. But anyways, the point being is, in order to be in that cheerful state, it depends on what you consume. Because for me personally, I realized when eating fruit, clean foods, protein, clean meats as well, lean meats, the ones that are actually beneficial to the body, that are as polluted. Obviously, Esau's kingdom, most of the foods is defiled and polluted, but we get the best of what we can. So even when consuming that, consuming fruit as well, it just brightens up my mood as well. That's the thing. It brightens me up. So again, Ecclesiasticus chapter 30, verse 25, a cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet, man. What you consume affects the state of mind and how you behave, and also the clarity of how you think as well. So again, that's what that pertains to. And let me try to get another one too. So again, we just gotta be careful what we consume. Obviously, there's a balance, Let's say, you've gone for some time, your diet's consistent, but every now and then you may go to like a restaurant or something, maybe a fast food joint, you don't know the situation, man. You could be somewhere, and then you just like maybe just get a fast food quickly, you may be hungry, and then yeah. But the point is, your normal typical diet should be clean. That's really what it is, Get the vegetables that you can get. So sometimes these vegetables as well, you still got to do research, because I remember the time where I was consuming spinach quite a lot, man. But there's this thing called oxalates, which are like, I don't know if I'm describing it right, but probably like glass shards that can form over time with your constant consumption. So I was like, all right, let me take a break from spinach, because the main incentive for me to consume spinach was to improve my eyesight, which really in the past it actually did. If I consume spinach and I dropped sugar completely, as much processed sugar completely, then my eyesight will be cleaned up within like 2-3 days. You get that 20/20 vision. So, Yara Tazar, I gotta, do more research in these foods that help with eyesight, because the thing changes based on, sugar. So it could be other factors as well, but mainly, dropping that sugar will help with eyesight as well. And also for Akim, you may wear glasses too. That could also help as well, just dropping the sugar consumption, 2-3 days, and eventually your eyesight start clearing up, man. And if you even want to multiply the effect even more, what needs to be done is also fasting as well, which I'll get to that eventually. But yeah, let me get this. But I did find a solution to basically reducing the amount of oxalates, which I think they're like glass shards or something. Let me just try to do a quick search on this. Because that's the main reason why I was like, okay, let me calm down on spinach now. Man. So even some of the healthy foods you still got to be careful of, because you can't just over consume them before they then become toxic to the body. Alright, let's see this. I just want to get straight to the point. Okay. Yeah, I'm just reading it so that I get to the point when I actually read it out. So yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, let me start reading from here. So what are oxalates? Oxalates or oxalic acid are naturally occurring compounds. Is a so I can read it again. What are oxalates? Oxalates or oxalic acid are naturally occurring compounds in foods like spinach and chard. And as I said, I used to consume a lot of spinach, man. So they are also produced in small amounts by the liver. The role of oxalates and other anti-nutrients is to provide protection for plants against predators. Everything from harmful bacteria to insects, animals, and even humans. So, of course, those are just examples of predators. So, they provide protection to the plants in a few different ways. First, anti nutrients often cause a bitter taste in food that deters people and animals from eating them. Think the bitter flavor of beet leaves, which are very high in oxalates, which is why if you ever consume spinach raw, man, the taste that you get in your tongue is different. You get that bitter taste, man. But I always pushed through it when I didn't know about this. So they provide protection to plants in a few different ways. First, anti-nutrients often cause a bitter taste in foods that deters people and animals from eating them. Think bitter flavor of beet leaves, which are very high in oxalates. Beyond just bitter flavor, anti-nutrients can also prevent the proper digestion and absorption of foods. Have you ever eaten blueberries or strawberries and noticed little seeds in the toilet bowl? Seeds often contain anti-nutrients that stop the body from being able to break them down. They are passed through the digestive system unscathed. So of course, that's really the point. Let's see. Just skip down a little bit. In high enough concentrations, which is like the quantity of the anti-nutrients, so of the oxalates, in high enough concentrations, anti-nutrients can make you sick and can even be poisonous. In fact, it's a very high concentration of oxalates that make the leaves of rhubarb poisonous, and phytates in undercooked beans make people sick every day. So of course, that's really the point right there why I had to calm down with that spinach, man. Despite the eyesight. But carrots as well is also another alternative that I used to use, but I just wanted to try different things. So I was like, you know what? Let me try spinach, let me try carrots. Eggs as well help with the eyes too. But again, just need to clean off the sugar as well. So that was really it for the spinach experience of mine that I had. So for any of you out here consuming spinach, just be careful. And really, I found a solution as well. Someone posted online, some kind of a medical doctor or something, whatever, nutritionist, posted online saying that in order to kill the oxalates or reduce drastically the amount of oxalates from your spinach that you consume, you boil them. So of course, when you boil the spinach, it softens the defenses up, man. So of course, them anti-nutrients would probably would then get into the water. Then you pour that water away. Then forget about that consumption, man. So then you eat you eat the spinach, the boiled spinach as it is. So it's safer that way. For any of you out there who do want to start to consume spinach, you boil it first. You kill the oxalates and the anti-nutrients. Then you'll be able to consume them to at least some sort of safe degree. But yeah, let me get this one. Let's see. So it says, "The belly devoureth all meat," or Salakia. Ecclesiasticus chapter 36, verse 18. "The belly devoureth all meats, yet is one meat better than the other." So of course, the thing is, although the body can also digest all types of foods, there's a certain type of foods that are better than others, man. Even in this day and age, we still got defiled meats to then deal with. But We just got to do our research, use wisdom when preparing these foods, because obviously we're the ones consuming them, so we have to take precaution. Again, going into Ecclesiasticus chapter 30, verse 25, about taking a care of your diet and obviously your meat as well that you consume. So yeah, Ecclesiasticus chapter 36, verse 18 once more. The belly devoureth all meats, yet is one meat better than than another. So of course that's why we need to take that caution, man. We gotta take that caution. So again, let's say, if sometimes with these defiled meats as well, that's why we also need to try and fast every now and then as well, which is really a process for the body to also clean up things. If you can do, in terms of starting out, you gotta do like 1 day. Well, I say 1 day, but that's also serving for certain people, especially new brothers or new sisters that may come in this truth. You can start out probably doing 12-hour water fast. Do that, every now and then. Get your body used to it. Of course, every now and then, as I said, you don't have to go too obsessively with it, or else you start to lose too much flesh in it. Because I realized I used to get too obsessive with the thing, man, with the fasting, where I did it like every single week, just be fasting 1 or 2 days every week. But then it's like I realized, yeah, I was getting quite skinny. But anyways, that's just the flesh failing in it. But yeah, I mean, it helped, but at the same time, it wasn't really ideal in the long term. The weakness does get there. But anyways, let me stop rambling on too much. But the point is, fasting does benefit even more the longer you do it. Which before I do that, I need to get a precept on fasting first. But so that's Ecclesiasticus 36. Let me get one more. 37 verse 30. There. Okay, so it says here, for excess, let me read it. Ecclesiasticus 37 verse 30. For excess of meats bringeth sickness, and suffering will turn into choler. No, it didn't say it. Wait, let me actually search up Salakia. Maybe it's a different word, because it says surfeiting, but I'm thinking that it says suffering. So let me just search up if that's even an actual word. Of course it's an actual word, probably. So surfeiting. Is it suffering? Oh yeah, it is an actual word. Surfeit. Okay, so the definition of surfeit, I don't know if you guys can see that. Man, the focus on this camera is another thing. Try to focus it there. Yeah, so anyways, I'll just read it out. So surfeit, the definition of surfeit, 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 means an excessive amount of something, an illness caused or regarded as being caused by excessive eating or drinking. So basically consuming too much. An illness from that. So let me read that again. Ecclesiasticus chapter 37 verse 30. For excess of meats bringeth sickness, and surfeiting, which obviously the illness from too much eating. That's what surfeiting means. So, for excess of meats bringeth sickness, and surfeiting will turn into choler. And let's search up choler or chola. I think it's choler. Choler. It's probably some kind of a disease or something. Not disease, sickness, illness of some sort. Let's see. So it says, in medieval science and medicine, one of the 4 bodily humors identified with bile and believed to be associated with peevish or irascible temperament, also called yellow bile. Let me try to get that again. So it's like some kind of a chemical produced in the body. Let's see. And they say that's in medieval medicine as well. So it kind of makes sense. So it says identified with bile and believed to be associated with peevish or irascible temperament, also called yellow bile, of the full bodily humors and its bile. Yeah, but it's some kind of a yellow base, a yellow I don't know if I even want to call it liquid, but something that your body produces from the liver, man, or kidneys, or what did you mention just now? It says bile. Bile is normally from the liver. Bile is normally from the liver. So of course that yellow bile is from the excess of eating. So that's really referring back to the scripture in Ecclesiasticus chapter 37, verse 30. Read it one more time. For the excess, Ecclesiasticus 37, verse 30, for excess of meats bringeth sickness, and surfeiting will turn into choler, which is Choler. And choler is that yellow bile that your body produces, man. You know, it starts to produce too much yellow bile. That's probably what it's referring to here. So really, the point is, too much eating is not good for you. That's basically what the point is. Too much eating is not good for you. So in that case, one will also need to get into fasting as well. Let's see. Because fasting, there's actually a whole load of benefits. But let me get this feature, this scripture first. Yeah. And then we'll get into fasting as well. Just need to check the time, man. So, let's see. Okay, Psalms, isn't it? Psalms. Psalms 35. 44, 35. Okay, almost there. Cool. So this is Psalms 35, verse 13. Psalm of David. So it says Psalms 35, verse 13. But as for me, when they were sick, let me actually see this. So okay. Yeah, it's the one. Psalms 35, verse 13. But as for me, when they were sick, my clothing was sackcloth. I humbled my soul with fasting, and my prayer returned into my own bosom. So of course, the key part I want to bring out is really the humbling of your soul with fasting. Because when you're fasting spiritually, you're putting spiritually, spiritually, you're putting your flesh in a low state, but you're heightening your spirit. So when you've heightened your spirit, that's when reaching the Most High is also more feasible as well. You know, although yes, we are in the flesh. You know, we got our righteousness is as filthy rags. You see, we've got that to deal with. But though we also have the ability, the opportunity to also pray to the Most High. So of course, if you then have an even better chance, you know, of communicating, which really is through Yahushua, it's to Yahushua anyways, because, you know, he's the mediator between us and the Most High. So when praying to Yahushua, you know, when we fast, we also get that heightened spiritual, we enter that heightened spiritual state. So when we're in that heightened spiritual state, we're more likely to then, you know, have our prayers also delivered, man. Which really, you know, if you're in a righteous state of mind, you know, you pray daily, you know, you do what you can in terms of righteousness, then, you know, your prayers are getting answered nevertheless. But the point is, fasting is like a booster for that, man. That's the thing, which is why, you know, several times when Israel was mourning, they fasted and prayed, man. it was a core practice in uh in uh in what do I call it? In our nationality. So it was a core practice within Israel amongst our people. So Psalms 35 verse 13 once more. But as for me, when they were sick, my clothing was sackcloth. I humbled my soul with fasting, and my prayer turned into mine own bosom. So of course, that is really I've already explained the point, man. You humble yourself, you humble the flesh, and obviously you heighten the spirit. That's what happens when you fast. And really, as the flesh is also being humble, you're cleaning the flesh as well. So there's many benefits of fasting, man. It's like giving your body a break from just digesting food, you know? Just like a car, if you just give it a break, with all that overheating, that heating up, the engine and whatnot. If you give the car a break, obviously it's gonna cool down. Then it'll be able to work for you next time. Let it rest. So let me see this. Let me check for something. Hold on. Oh yeah, come on. So it is the. Alright, so Tobit. Let's see, 12 and 8. Man, because Akim, even as I said, 12-hour fast you can begin with. When you then get used to that, obviously don't obsessively do it too much. Every now and then, do your 12-hour fast. Obviously, she's really just a 12-hour water fast where you just drink water. And then let's say if you can't do 12 hours, then do 6 hours. Then 6, 7, 8 hours. Then from there you go on to 12 hours of water fasting. Then you can go up to 24 hours of water fasting. And once you get up to 24 hours of water fasting, try to do dry fast, which is without water, without food or water. And from 6 hours, you then get to 12, then you get to 24 hours of dry fasting. And before you know it, if you then gradually do that, you would then be able to do 3 days straight of fasting. For Akim, you do want to, go on that level. Because the last time I did a 3-day fast was probably late last year. But I need to do it again, man. Because the feeling after doing a 3-day fast, honestly. Let me just get this first. I then talk about that. But the feeling of a 3-day fast, man, is unreal. Especially, during that period, it's like, you feel weak and whatnot. And, you feel weak and whatnot. But then when you break the fast with some good fruit, man. Watermelon, honeydew melon, what else? Pineapple, then fruit that brightens up your mood. That's the thing. Straight after, it's way more effective now because the body wants to now use it. Your body better utilizes the resources that you eat after the fast, man. Which you got to break that fast gently as well. Don't rush like a whole big meal after that, or else you're gonna get diarrhea. Because that's what I had last time when I tried to eat rice straight after a 3-day fast. So it's like I was in a donut case in the toilet. So that's a lesson learned. So it's gonna get Tobit. That should get it. So this is Tobit chapter 12 verse 8. Prayer is good with fasting and alms and righteousness. A little with righteousness is better than much with unrighteousness. It is better to give alms than lay up gold. So the key part was really the first part for this lesson specifically. It says prayer is good with fasting and alms and righteousness. And alms is really just given to those who are needy, man. You know, if you got, let's say if you do have some excess cash as well, and a brother is in need, then you assist him as well. And sometimes if the spirit leads you, you may give like a homeless Jake some money or something. Occasionally, if the spirit leads. But of course, you don't have to go out of your way. Like if you're going through your own flipping suffering as well, obviously sort yourself out before you start willingly giving alms as well, man. But obviously use wisdom when doing this. But the point is, giving alms, which is giving people support and help. Typically, it's in a financial way. That's a way. In addition with prayer, in addition with fasting and righteousness, which really is obeying the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahshua, and the laws, the best of our ability, really, because we're still in the flesh. All of that, in addition to fasting, which is the key point, and prayer, will then also help you to be in a good state, man. As it says, a little with righteousness is better than much with unrighteousness. That was the key part there in Tobit 12 verse 8. So we're going to be praying. So even though you may fast, you still got to pray, in addition to your usual prayers, daily, and, the Our Father as well. What's it called? Abba Nawa, which Abba means father in the ancient Hebrew. And then Nawa is the plural form for our Father. It's for our. So Abba Nawa, our Father. So yeah, pray that, on a daily basis. Do your normal prayers when you need something, when you need assistance, when you need help, support. Maybe you need healing as well. Pray for others, the brotherhood, those who are laboring in this truth, for the apostles, Apostle Aramlab as well. He's going through his thing as well, with parasites as well. So we got prayers constantly needed, man. It's not always for yourself. It's also for the brotherhoods and really for Israel, man. But realistically, right now, it's really for those who need to be brought into the truth. And Yaratazar, Kingdom Come, they're all set up in their positions, man. But yeah, we've got to pray constantly. That's the point. Pray constantly, and we fast as well. And really, when you need to fast, it's a tool that we need to use in order to access the Most High. So obviously, we use it when we need it, and we do it every now and then. It could be maybe once a month or something, twice a month. Cleanse the vessel whilst you're at it as well, man, as you're praying. Which again, I'll list some benefits and some foods that will help, which will remove parasites as well. Because I remember, I took some notes based on that, on the Apostle Tohar's video, on the post-camp video that they did. That was after that was for the Daniel 7 breakdown, yeah. Daniel 7, 8, 9 breakdown. But yeah, so that's Tobit 12 verse 8. Once more, for alms, so like here. Tobit 12 verse 8, prayer is good with fasting and alms and righteousness. A little with righteousness is better than much with unrighteousness. It is better to give alms than to lay up gold. So of course the key part is we've got to be praying, fasting, of course give alms. Obviously it's not a necessity, you still got your life to deal with. And of course, obey the Most High, Yahushua is the priority as well. So of course that's through the scriptures. But yeah, that's really that thing. Let me check if I got anything else. Yeah, let me get my final precept here, and then I'll go on with the thing. So this is pertaining to Cornelius. He fasted for 4 days. So Acts 10, you get that. Where is it? Wait, hold on. Salakia. Okay, so yeah, so Acts 10 verse 30, this was really Cornelius communicating with Peter, telling him what he just did about fast. So Acts 10 verse 30, and Cornelius said, 4 days ago I was fasting until this hour, and at the ninth hour I prayed in my house, and behold, a man stood before me in bright clothing. So the thing is, obviously, for those who can discern it, well, really, this one's really milk anyways. So the thing is, the man in bright clothing was an angel that met Cornelius. And the fact that he said he also prayed as well, he used fasting as well, which again heightens the state of the spirit, man, when accessing the Most High. So of course, it said, yeah, I prayed in my house, and behold, a man stood before me in bright clothing. So when you're going through a fast as well, man, you may get a revelation of what may happen in the future as well, like a vision, or you may just get either get a dream, a spiritual dream, or a vision, or something that's special, man. Really, you may even get a blessing as well. You never know what it may come in, man. So of course, that's also another advantage of fasting as well, because you're in that heightened state of spirit. You're humbling your flesh. Again, that's referring to Psalms 35, when David says he humbles his flesh by fasting. Yeah, I think it's Psalms 35. It's in Psalms 35 near the ending. And also, so obviously that's referring to that. So you pray, you fast, you heighten your spirit, you humble your flesh, then that's the way of reaching the Most High. I mean, that's really, again, I'm just repeating it again, it's through Yahweh Shai, that's how we get to Yahweh. So of course, really, we're accessing Yahweh Shai. So that's really the advantage of fasting and praying, which is why it was a very known practice back in the day. Of course, right now, there's over consumerism that's affecting people. So that's Acts 10 verse 30. So it says, and Cornelius said, 4 days ago I was fasting. So he was doing it 4 days. People in this age right now don't think that we can actually last 4 days without food or water. I said myself personally, last year I've done 3 days. I just wanted to try it. But of course I didn't just go 3 days. No, I started doing 1 day first. Then I started to do 2 days first, for some months. Then I decided, okay, let me do 3 days. And yeah, it's a clean finish. So yeah, and also, that's really the scripture right there. Cornelius was fasting 4 days. And I think there was even an account of